Morning, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Frank. Hopefully, everybody's doing good. So, uh, another day, right? So, I got the kids last night. First of all, the school calls me and tells me that, yesterday at like 12 o'clock, tells me that Major fell and hit his head and he's complaining about being dizzy. So, I go pick him up from school. When I speak to him, he seems all right, right? So I get him in the car and I talk to him and I say, Mage, let me ask you something. I said, be honest with me. And this is the type of relationship me and Mage have. I said, are you okay? And maybe you just wanted to get out of school. You got a lot of stuff going on with you right now. Or, did you fall and hit your head and don't feel good? You know? And I said, if you did, if you did fall and hit your head, and you don't feel good, but maybe the biggest thing was you just getting out of school for the day. I said, that's fine. I said, you go to school every day, you do what you have to do. I said, we all need a personal day, right? So I explained to him. And he's like, no, Dad. He's like, I fell, I hit my head, showed me he had a bump. He said, I'm, he said, I just feel a little weird. So I said, okay. I said, well, understand you have a lot going on in your life right now. So it's okay if you need a personal day. All you got to do is say something to me or your mom. And he says, okay, Dad. And then he reaches over and gives me a hug and a kiss, tells me he loves me. I said, Dad, um, he said, how about if you need a personal day? And I sort of laughed, right? Because, and it was to keep from crying at that moment. Because I was like, damn, here this is my 10-year-old son. He knows me so good. Even if I smile to keep from crying, Major knows. Major picks up on that shit. Major is very, very much so an empath. Very much so. So I told him, I said, look, Daddy will be fine. I said, you don't worry about Daddy. You worry about Major, right? And he said, okay. Then, told me he loves me and said, Dad, but I worry about you. I said, I'm fine. Um, So I get the kids. I pick up Mercy later on from daycare. She has me riding this, her routine is she'll have me take her for a scooter ride 10 different times at the shop between customers. So I take her for a scooter ride. We play some basketball out front. And it was like, it was such good time spent. Um, but then I realized and I was like, and this stuff, for me, this is harder than me and Rachel splitting, that's hard. But family splitting is 10 times worse, right? So I realized I was like, damn, we're going home. I got to get her a bath. I got to get her ready for bed. I got to make sure Major gets in a bath and they brush their teeth and do all this stuff that they normally do. And this is stuff that me being 100% honest and transparent, that's stuff that Rachel usually did, with them. And I just realized, I was like, damn, we're going, me and Mercy, we're going to lay down in the bed. And, and something I realized, and I spoke about this before, how her smell is on the sheets, right? I'll say it was on the sheets. It's not on the sheets as much as it was before. And the crazy thing is I'm sort of all right with that, right? I'm sort of all right with that. And I knew this was going to happen, right? I knew this was going to happen. I'm sort of all right with that. I realize now when I get home, I'm motivated and take the initiative to do stuff. When before I would get home and I'd be like, ugh, here we go. And I'm sure, she felt the same, you know. Uh, and then she Major goes to school. I send Major off to school. She picks up Mercy, and I realized I was like, man, just us talking about stuff, her vehicle, I got her as a birthday gift a couple years ago. Um, and I told her, I said, yo, we gotta get that out of my name. I don't want it in my name. Um, all that. I just I just want to be rid of any liabilities, anything like that. I just don't want. Um, and I understand stuff can't happen overnight, but I want it done. I see there's not as big of an urgency on both parts. Once again, that's fine, you know, uh, you know, and then, yeah, it's not even for here, but it I was, I've been doing a lot of reading lately, uh, and like homework, right, on certain things. For me, being a man, and I'm sure a lot of us are like this, we view abuse as strictly somebody getting their head knocked off, right? Like that. And I started reading on emotional abuse and mental abuse and just a bunch of shit like that. And I realized how easy it is to hurt somebody else in so many different ways. So many different ways, right? So many different ways. Uh, that's why, like, I think it's so important, man. It's so important. Um, to like not do things out of spite, even when it's easy to, right? When we put out our hand and we extend our hand and shake somebody's hand and somebody spits in our hand, it's so easy to want to slap the shit out of them with that hand, right? But I think we have to take evaluation and say, okay, why was I extending my hand to this person in the same, in the first place, right? And then saying, I probably knew they were going to spit in it. I probably knew that they were going to spit in it because that stuff usually doesn't happen just out of the blue. We usually know, right? Um, and I even say, just because I extend my hand and shake somebody's hand and they spit in my hand, doesn't mean that that gives me the right to go and slap the shit out of them with that same hand, right? Even though that's probably what will feel good. But I can't allow others to dictate my actions, right? And I'm just speaking in generalities here. I can't allow for others to dictate my actions. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done. Because I know I'm responsible for my actions. I can't say, well, you did this, so that made me do that. That's shit kids say, right? Kids say that. Grown men and women don't say that. Yeah. But it's hard to not do that, right? It's hard to not do that. I think we all view ourselves as strong or we should all view ourselves or have the goal of being a strong man or a strong woman, right? I think the integrity, what we do when nobody's looking, right? That's what really dictates whether we're a strong man or a strong woman. Where the stuff we do when nobody's looking, right? That's what determines, all right, are you being a strong man or a strong woman? You know. So, yeah. Oh, I want to be a strong man. Right? I do. It's hard. It's hard to be sometimes, but that's what I want to be. So, it's my video for today. Thank you guys for being kind, loving, and patient. If you're watching, know that I love you, I miss you, and I truly hope you're doing all right. All right. Thank you. Be kind, loving, and patient, y'all. Gotta give.